hustle, like real hustle. You become a jack of all trades, master of none. Guys, forget being a master of anything. Money talks. Money literally talks. So welcome to another edition of Money Talk. Many of us, we usually have what you call this, we've got business ideas, but we have no capital on how to execute these business ideas. Now, capital is very important, but this is what I always say, ideas are much more important than money, because ideas are essentially the thing that creates all the money in the world. In 2012, I resigned from my job to basically become a full-time entrepreneur. Now, when I resigned from my job, I had a series of events that happened in my life. Some of you would call them bad luck. Some of you would call them superstition. Basically a bunch of things started happening in my life. So when I resigned from my job, I used to own a car, or the bank used to own the car because it wasn't my car. It was still the bank's car because I was paying the bank. Now this car got into an accident. A friend of mine was driving it and it was written off. Now this vehicle, when I resigned, the initial idea was that I would use this vehicle as my vehicle for the company. I'd be moving around with it, running around with it on all sorts of things. Now when this accident happened, my friend didn't have a license at the time. So obviously insurance couldn't pay us out. And here we are, the car is written off. I owe the bank, insurance doesn't want to pay out. Long story short, I was fucked. Now, as soon as I resigned, guess what? People started treating me differently, unfortunately. When you don't have money, people just treat you differently. Everyone, it's like people lose respect for you when you resign or when you lose your income. Let me just put it straightforward. When you lose a source of income, people have absolutely no respect for you, because unfortunately in today's society, your worth is what you're able to bring to the table. That's how people measure your worth. Are you able to bring bread home? Are you able to bring meat at home? Are you able to pay for electricity? That's how your worth is measured in today's society. So I got treated the same. Friends that I used to hang out with didn't want to hang out with me no more. Family starts treating you different. In fact, they started calling me crazy. People started saying I was witched. I was bewitched. That's what people started saying. Because people could somehow not understand why a 21-year-old would resign from a job to pursue a career in business. Now you need to understand, nobody in my family was a business person or a successful business person as per se. So obviously I was getting myself into uncharted waters. So first of all, your family didn't have anyone that they could look up to say, well, who did it in the family, so you're most probably also likely to succeed. So already from the get-go, the odds were against me. Now you need to start dealing with the emotional trauma. The emotional trauma is basically now you being blackmailed and also you being labeled to say you're not okay in your head, you're going crazy, how can you resign from the job, you're gonna die from hunger, you're gonna die from starvation, you are stupid, nobody resigns from their job. So we need to understand that people are only used to resigning at the age of 60 when they get their pension. So when you're 21 and you resign, that's like you're being crazy, my nigga, you're being crazy. No 21-year-old resigns. Like, who resigns when you're 21? Nobody does, but I did. But nonetheless, I had a lot of challenges, a lot of challenges that I had to deal with. Starting from the vehicle, starting from the amount of debt that I had. Guys, when I resigned from my job, I realized that I had nothing apart from debt. I owed Edgar's for underwears that I don't even know where they are. I owed MTC for a phone that I couldn't even remember where it was. I literally had huge mountains of debt. I remember owing telecom for the Wi-Fi. The debt was just too much, guys. Like, it was literally too much. Like, sometimes I ask myself and I wonder, so all my money, all it used to do is just go into debt, or what? Where my money used to go? I just couldn't understand it. So there I was, unemployed, no source of income, and the dream of apparently one day becoming a CEO of a big corporation with no money. So what had to be done? So this is what I started doing. Now, I had a lot of businesses, like a lot, because I knew it, the only way to make it is if you diversify. You can't just say you're doing plumbing. You can't just say you're doing construction. You gotta do everything, my nigga, if you wanna hustle, like real hustle. You become a jack of all trades, master of none. Guys, forget being a master of anything. At first, just be a jack of all trades. Try and see where you can get the money. Because the truth is, if you try and master one thing, chances are the money is not just gonna come at that specific point in time.